Welcome back to TrueNAS Tech Talk. We're back after our extended break there, which we'll talk a little bit about today. But primarily today, we wanted to bring you some news on the TrueNAS 26 Beta 2 release. There's a lot of fixes in there, and Chris and I will go over and dissect some of the more important ones for you, as well as a note on the 25.10.4 release that we pushed out for those of you on Goldeye still, as well as a note on our fresh OpenShift driver for Red Hat. Stick around.
Oh, we're back in the saddle after a little bit of a prolonged break there, Chris. It's been a few months, I believe, right? Busy couple months.
It's been at least a month, I'm pretty sure. The last one we did was just after the NAB show there. Again, we apologize for this. We've had a bit of a long delay, but there's been a lot going on, hasn't there, Chris?
Oh my gosh, it has been a busy. It feels like a couple months, feels like a year. I've been across the country, I think 6, 7, 8, 9 times by now already since we last spoke. This is crazy. Lots of travel. In addition to that, you might notice I have a little bit new backdrop here. It's because I've relocated. I've moved. I'm actually not in Tennessee anymore. I'm out in Washington State. So I am broadcasting live from my new home office, which is still a little Spartan right now. I haven't unpacked everything. We'll get to it.
I was going to say, it looks like you've moved a little bit further than from one room to another there, Chris. So, hey, congratulations on the move. And, well, now we got to figure out how the time zones are going to work between us. But we'll get that all sorted going forward. Absolutely.
Oh, but well, hey, modern challenges. It's good.
Exactly.
But we've had some big TrueNAS news to hit in the meantime, though. So we wanted to make sure we took some time this week to really bring you some of the latest and greatest.
Yeah, we've got, of course, the big news is that 26 Beta 2 has dropped for TrueNAS 26. We got quite a few highlights in here, but we're just going to try and go over the big ones. We're building on the momentum of that first beta, trying to really refine things, enhance the stability, the user experience. So the first one is we've thrown some fixes in there for the network interfaces. So we got things like forward error correction is now properly able to be configured on your network interfaces. And we've also done some changes with the custom S3 backup endpoints and some SMB and NFS integration as well.
Oh, that's nice. And then on the virtualization front, a lot of folks will recall from Beta 1, this was the first time we have the non-experimental containerization functionality, but we've had a good handful of fixes land as well, including some fixes for VM cloning, some GPU pass-through fixes, Intel GPU support for those LXC containers. That's a big one some folks were waiting for. Also addressed some issues with container hostname reporting, some ID mapping, and some container cleanup after pool disconnection. And I will note, I think a little Easter egg for some folks. If you might have seen on the forum, somebody found that we have a nice little command line utility for being able to shell into containers as well, just to make it easy. Little convenience things. But yeah, some good stuff there.
Yeah, it didn't take them very long to find that one. And the developer was rather amused at how quickly people were poking around in there. So again, that's what a beta is for. Go in there, poke around, and explore things. Again, if any of you happen to be running one of the newer Intel GPUs, give that a shot for the pass-through support into the containers. If you happen to be lucky enough to get your hands on a B70 Pro or something, one of the new 32 gig ARC GPUs, hey, let me know how that's working. I'm in the market for something with a little bit more VRAM for some local AI. We've also, so back to the updates, we've streamlined some of the storage management. We're improving the visibility for pool operations like resilvering and scrubbing up on your dashboard. So you'll be more easily able to monitor those things directly from the TrueNAS dashboard. We've also corrected some of the storage usage estimates on the snapshot screen to be a little bit more accurate there. And we had some specific fixes around NVMe namespace deletion and resize issues for those of you who have those NVMe devices that do have namespace support. So we've done a bit of correction in there.
Oh, that's great. And then the list continues. We got refined ACLs, some improvements in permissions. So ACL preset templates can now auto-include local and directory service user and admin groups for better compatibility, which is great. We've also resolved some issues editing user accounts where they have the Docker group membership enabled. So that was a good one. Thanks to Beta 1 testers who found that.
We've also done some general, stability and reliability updates. We're looking at, high ZFS memory consumption when you had certain I/O things going on. Squashed some bugs related to a few SMB service crashes under particular types of load, and cleaned up some false positive smart alerts that were still persisting after upgrade. So, again, removing false positives is always a good thing. Nobody likes alert fatigue.
Excellent. And then on the audit control side, some improvements to improve the audit logging and access control for Webshell sessions. Also fixes for GUI SSL certificate saving. That had some issues. And then some correct rendering of dashboard widgets were resolved, including the report a bug feature, which now correctly attaches the debug files. Oops, that was a bit annoying in beta 1. Corrected in beta 2. So if you do find issues, please use the report a bug feature again and attach that debug, because that's very helpful for us.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be a little bit smoother now, and we'll get some good reports in beta 2 from people without having to go through the manual steps of attaching the debug separately. And then last but not least, we've done a few changes to the upgrade process itself when you're coming from, a 2510 release that involve the container dataset mounting and the GPU isolation. That's just to ensure a more seamless transition from earlier versions for those of you who are getting ready to upgrade. But
Excellent.
While we're talking about upgrades, Chris, I mean, we've had some comments from people there saying, hey, what's going on? Why is it taking so long for TrueNAS 26 to come out? And maybe we'll point back to our last episode. We had a bit of an article on our blog talking about how we're officially on this annual release. So maybe we want to rehash that a little bit.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out, because some people don't pay attention or they don't see these until the beta drops or until an RC drops. And then they'll wonder, oh, that took a long time. Where have I been? What happened? Blah, blah, blah. So just as a quick reminder for folks, we have shifted that annual release cycle. And usually in the past, we had seen the .2 releases where we saw the new version start to overtake the old. So it's not like much has changed for your average community edition user these days. Apart from we have longer windows in between betas because we're trying to get more polish. We want to make that .0 be as solid as it possibly can be. And it's a little bit of a catch-22. If we push things out rapid and do these rapid 3-month beta RC release cycles, it means the potential quality of the .0 can suffer, and nobody wants that. And then you complain at me for, why didn't you fix all these bugs? Well, it turns out fixing bugs takes time, takes resources, takes humans, takes engineers, takes also you in the community reporting the bugs, because I can't tell you how many times we'd get to a .1 or .2 and somebody reports something that just nobody had tried yet with some esoteric weird setup. And so it takes a while to catch all those. So these longer cycles help.
Yeah, and we appreciate everybody out there in the community doing all this testing, because we can do all the testing we want internally. You have a way, way bigger set of potential use cases and test cases you hit us with. There's always something new that we're going, that's a unique one. That's a different way of approaching it. And even just a certain sets of workloads that can trigger something, nobody likes a race condition. And, it seems like we can get people who can trigger them out there when we throw it out to 250,000 systems.
Now, the good news is I think it's already paying off, though. Those who have jumped on the beta 2 train, we've already seen a huge improvement in kind of the inflow and rate of bug tickets kind of by this point of the pre-release cycle. So it feels like it's paying off. We're looking forward to getting the RC out in a few months here. And then, of course, the release later this fall. But yeah, good stuff. Keep the bug tickets coming in. Keep the reporting coming in. Test your various hardware configurations so we have a chance to go investigate and see what can be fixed before release lands proper.
Yeah.
And now, speaking of releases, I guess we should talk about the other release that happened in the last month, which is the next update to the 2510 train, the .4 release.
Yeah.
And what would you guess was in that?
Well, I don't know, Chris. It's not like there were a bunch of high-profile Linux kernel CVEs that popped out thanks to Anthropic releasing Mythos there and then opening up access, however briefly, to Fable 5. I have a feeling that we're gonna be busy with some of that stuff for a while. So
yeah,
I mean, let's run down some of these big ones that we handled in 2510.4 here.
This is the new world we're going to live in for a while. So just get used to it for at least the next little bit until a lot of these things are found and sorted out upstream and all the various components. But
buckle in. It's going to be a bumpy ride for a bit.
Yeah. But Linux kernel did get updated to the latest 6.12 LTS release, 612.91. This, of course, mitigates several kernel vulnerabilities, including some of the higher profile, the named ones, the DirtyFrag local privilege escalation. There was also some CIFSwitch local privilege escalations, which were patched, a keytrace privilege issue. Also enabled some additional CPU side channel mitigation. So again, a good slew of kernel-related CVEs came in. Yeah, thanks to all the work all the happy AI researchers are doing and finding these. But yeah, it is a bit annoying because it is quite a handful. Usually in a .4, we wouldn't be putting out quite this many patches in one go around.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the kernel that was getting hit with these things. We had to do some updates to Samba as well. That's in 4.22.10 now to address a couple CVEs there. Had to do with, read-only users setting reparse points and some challenges with the write once read many module, the worm module in Samba. If you want to take a look at the Samba 2026 security release impact statement, or you can look at the Samba release notes, we'll link those down below in the description as well. But there was a lot of changes going on there at sort of like the underlying component kernel level going on. We had a lot going on, but we did manage to get a nice TrueNAS fix in there, didn't we, Chris?
I was say one thing that wasn't CVE related was a fix related to time machine backups on more recent Mac versions. When a time machine SMB share had automatic snapshot enabled, there were some recent Mac versions that sometimes would keep the SMB session open after the backup completed instead of fully disconnecting, which would prevent later post-backup snapshots from being taken until the client had reconnected or restarted. So the logic's been updated to handle these now, where we see the connection just sitting there finished but idle. So that was a good one. Again, not CVE related, so great. Glad we were able to get that one in as well.
Well, hey, and TrueNAS wasn't the only thing we were working on specifically developing, because we developed the TrueNAS software, but we're also developing plugins and integrations for other third-party pieces. And some of you might have noticed we actually released a new container storage interface, or CSI driver, also publishing it upstream to Red Hat's OpenShift, because, people are still looking for alternatives to the large traditional virtualization solution, of course. No idea why they might be doing that. I'm sure we can all know who I'm speaking of here. But hey, we did a bit of an updated release there. It's still pretty fresh. We just put it out, but I know there's some new things coming on the way here, Chris, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a slew of the usual fixes and improvements based on feedback from people using it in the wild, which is great. And this is, of course, for the CSI driver for not only Kubernetes, but we're getting ready to publish this update to OpenShift here in the coming week as well. Probably the biggest new headline feature is the NVMe over Fabrics, or NVMe over TCP support for those on the community side. So keep an eye out for that. That's a much desired addition folks have been wanting for a while. There's quite a few people using, it seems, KubeVirt, doing virtualization, and wanted to have a little more modern alternative instead of using iSCSI for those connections to their VMs they're spinning up. So that'll be great to have the driver natively support that. That's been under testing for a while now. I believe the updates have already pushed to the repo. Some of you guys already know where to go look on GitHub to find that. If you're a DIYer, and you can go grab it, give us any testing, any feedback, that would be much appreciated. And then in the background, we'll get this published to the OpenShift catalog here very soon. And looking forward to getting that in people's hands.
Yeah. And one more quick thing that some of you might not have noticed is there was a little bit of discussion that got spun up again about, TrueNAS on ARM. And, you might have noticed a strange little commit that popped into the GitHub thing that talked about support for enabling VMs on both x86 and ARM64 hosts. And like I said, Chris, what an odd thing to say. I mean, it's great that we'll be allowing virtualization of ARM-style VMs on any kind of host we want. That's an interesting thing, isn't it, Chris?
It's a good thing. It's interesting to watch. Again, it's hard to keep secrets when you do a lot of this work in open source repos. But yeah, there's some ARM support landing in the product. We haven't officially announced anything. Give it a little bit. You can get excited, but we'll make some noise when the appropriate time comes to say, here's the ARM images. People can go play with them. But excited to see that starting to take shape in the background. And again, for those who watch our GitHub repos, it just means you get to see all the cool little bits as they land. But we will come back here and do an episode when that and some other news is ready to announce officially.
Awesome. I think that about wraps it up for today, Chris. We're just going to keep it as a short, sweet episode. We won't go too deep down any rabbit holes. But again, if you're out there on the pre-release train, looking forward to TrueNAS 26 and already running the beta, make sure you jump into the beta 2, take those latest updates, and do use that repaired feedback to send in any of your bug fixes, debug patches, anything like that. Keep us updated so we can stay on top of these things and have an even better RC release coming for you shortly. And of course, if you're still on 25.10, hey, make sure you grab that .4 release so you get the fixes for all of those wonderful CVEs out there in the world. So again, thank you very much for tuning in. You can always send your questions in to t3@truenas.com. You can drop into our comment section below, or you can see us on the forums at forums.truenas.com. You can also reach out to us on any kind of social media, be it Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever else we happen to be posting these days. So again, please make sure you do the usual YouTube things for us. If you can give us a like on the video, and if you're not subscribed, please do so and ring the notification bell so you'll get notified when Chris and I are hopefully back on a little bit more of a routine schedule with some more news for you. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again next time.